What's up, everybody? No Nonsense News, Ted, Monday, September 25th, 2020. 36 days to the election, and they have a debate scheduled for tomorrow. I'm interested to see just how this thing's going to go. Because you got, on one hand, Biden, who can barely put a sentence together, and which, by the way, I'm taking odds on how many times we're going to hear, come on, man. And you got Trump stating that he wants to have a drug test before the debate, and they're not going to shake hands. And this might be one of the most interesting debates in my lifetime. I'm not a big watcher of presidential debates throughout my lifetime. I've hardly watched any, but I might tune into this one just to see how ridiculous this thing gets. This could be funny. This could be funny. And while they're asking questions in the debate, they might want to ask a question about the numbers that the CDC put out. And I'll put them up here. You can see it. It was actually in the Ron Paul Liberty Report streaming live. It was good to see Ron Paul back today. Had a little scare at the end of the week last week. But you can see by looking at the chart yourself, they have a bunch of different scenarios. If you look, there's a scenario, the best current estimate. I mean, it's you are pretty much not going to die from this unless you are 70 and have underlying comorbidities. You have a remarkably low chance of dying of this, which is just proof that the closings were a fear mechanism that was used to take control of us. You put us under their control, take more of our freedoms away. And it's just it's time to give them freedoms back. This proves that the lockdowns were unjustified. And it's just, ridiculous to have these lockdowns. But even still, with these numbers coming out, today you also have New York talking about they could shut down at least 8 neighborhoods tomorrow. I mean, come on. They're across the state of New York, the positivity rate is up 1.5%. But let's look, the death rate is minimal. You're going to die more from a car crash than you are of COVID 19. And but what's cool is at the same time as you have New York talking about closing down, you also have Florida's governor. Florida's governor is taking all virus restrictions away. He's removing all of the restrictions. Any store that wants to put restrictions or bans on has to show proof or evidence of why they put those bans. No more virus lockdown or anything in Florida. You are now back to being free. No more numbers on the restaurants. Maybe Trump should take a page from his playbook and do that for the entire country, including big box stores. Because some places, Walmart is still imposing the mask on people. Big box stores and corporations should have to not force people to abide by that unless they can prove something. And if you look at the numbers right there, I don't think they're going to be able to prove that you really need to wear the masks and stuff in the store. And at least what's going on, if Trump was to do that, that would be closer to freedom than what we're experiencing in some places right now, honestly. Because some places right now are still locked down. Some places like New York still talking about lockdown. So applauds to you, Governor DeSantis. And even if we woke up in the morning tomorrow and all the shutdowns were and restrictions were lifted, the economy is reeling from the original shutdown. Honestly, we the unjustified lockdown, should I point out, it's already warnings and red flags every single day. Seemingly every single day in the news, we see the warnings. Here's another one. We had Stephen Roach last week talking about uh, he expects that the dollar could plunge as 35% next year. And I'm quoting 35%, as much as 35% next year is a quote. Also, last week marked the fourth straight week in a row of losses for the markets, which, by the way, they were all markets were up today. So they had a good day today, but you got to come back from 4 weeks of losses as it is. I mean, and last week, only 800,000 plus new unemployment claims, and people out there talking as if this is a good thing. People, this is not good. We're in trouble. We are in trouble. And it looks like they used this virus as more of a patsy than actually it was a threat that they claimed. They used this as an excuse. But if we actually talk about it, our economy was in trouble before this virus came. This is just something to point your finger at and say, oh, it's all because of this. If it wasn't for that, it would have been great. But it's nonsense because we see now that those numbers, there was no need to lock it. The only reason you did it was to point your finger at it and say that. And I don't understand how they could still, every single day last week, I read to you guys headlines about an agenda. Looks like they're closing, trying to push more closures. And even today, they're still trying to push more closures. And you've seen the numbers for yourself. Go back, look at them, check out the article, go check out Ron Paul Liberty Report. He's much more articulate than I am. I'm still working at this. Anyway, that brings me to the fact that with all this going on, we're cruising down the rail to destination of third world country. And that brings me to another article that I read today that the headline read, no meat, no milk, no bread, hunger crisis rocks Latin America. Now, I know right now you're thinking, oh, but that's in Latin America. I just want to read this one part to you. It's about a guy who's having a problem. He was middle class. He lost his job. He has no way to feed his family. He has 6 mouths to feed. Sounds very upsetting, and it's happening across the globe, even here in the United States. But if you look, there's a part, it says, we used to eat meat, now there's no meat. We used to eat chicken, now there's no chicken. We used to drink milk, and now there's no milk. Even bread, he said, is off the menu. So think about that here. And with us racing towards that third world status, the underlying theme that I'm going to continue to press on is prepare. Prepare. And this article gives you a good example of where you can start. Because this stuff is coming. These food shortages, this unemployment, no money, because there is food on the shelves. If you read this article, there is food on the shelves, but nobody can get the money or the jobs to get the money to buy that food. And this is racing towards America right now. As a matter of fact, it's racing around the globe. Around the globe. So start preparing. By this, I would say, get some canned meat, get some powdered milk, get some flour. If you don't know how to make bread, get flour, learn how to make bread. Prepare for when you might not be able to go and get it. And even if it is at the store, maybe you or your spouse or your loved ones have lost their job and you can't afford to get what is at the store, and the government can no longer give out these big stimulus checks. Just prepare. You never know. You don't want to rely on anybody anyway. You want to be able to take care of your family. God forbid you ever have to see any of your loved ones, your spouse, your children go hungry. That's not a good thing. Nobody wants to see that. But anyway, that's all I got for today. And I hope everybody has a good day. Please, I implore you, prepare for what's coming to America, because it is coming. Anyway, I hope you like what you saw. I hope I entertained you for a little bit. And please like, subscribe, leave a comment. Tell me where I could work on, what I need to get better at. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.